ranging hand. He has 2 Furies, a Teferi, 2 lands, perhaps 1 more. It looks like the life pad that they're using is a little bit bright. Maybe we can turn the contrast up a little bit. Brightness down. But yeah, this...
Zoo's going to take a mulligan here.
Yep. I don't know who's on the play here.
We'll find out.
Absolutely.
Zoo is a really cool deck. I think the Zoo archetype has not been well represented in Modern for quite some time.
Yeah. When was the last time we saw Zoo?
I have
Is it
no
Suicide
idea.
Zoo?
Yeah, it might have been
Like
before
pre-Shadow?
Yeah, like when Probe was legal.
Ouch.
Yeah,
a little more?
Yep. So
I can just go. We can just tell them.
as long as you can see, okay.
I think I got it. All right.
Okay. So,
yeah, Zoo.
both players are gonna go fetch go. Yeah, Zoo is back with Wild Nicatl.
Is it?
Yeah.
I admit I have not been paying attention to the Domain Zoo archetype.
Yeah. It got a kick in the leg from A, the Triomes, B, Modern Horizons 2, because 2 cards in
Sign of
particular
the
were put there.
Dragon?
Sign of Draco.
Draco, yeah.
It is a 12 mana card that really only costs 2 because it's
Yep.
reduced by 2 mana for every land type that you have.
Does
Territorial
wastes count?
Kavu. No,
Really?
I don't think so.
It might.
Maybe it does.
Basic land type waste. We're gonna find out. We're citation.
Someone in
needed.
chat will tell us, I'm sure.
Yeah, chat. What do you think?
Yeah, so like we're seeing Sign of Draco here. So it is a 12 drop, only costs 2 because Colin has all 5 basic land types in play.
Is it a 6/6?
It's a 4/4 with flying,
Right.
and it gives creatures keywords based on their colors.
Right.
I know green is a relevant one because it gets trample. I think
Would
red
you like
is
to
first
pull up
strike.
Scion of Draco?
Let's see if I remember it. Green
let's-
is trample, red is first strike. I'm gonna say that blue is flying, white lifelink.
I think white is vigilance, black is lifelink.
Okay,
I think.
I actually don't know what black. Black could be menace.
I don't think it is.
Um,
Let's find out. Lifelink if it's black, I was right.
Lifelink for black, vigilance for
First
white.
right,
Okay.
first right. Yep. Yeah, that card's got a lot of text on it.
So we're seeing this is an impressive play from Nathan, enabled by the new Up the Beanstalk from
Up the
WoW.
Beanstalk.
So that was turn 2, Up the Beanstalk, Pitchcast Fury, Exiling Fury, draw from Up the Beanstalk twice. So Up the Beanstalk is a 2-mana enchantment. When it enters the battlefield and when you cast a spell with CMC 5 or greater,
Draw a card.
draw a card.
We
3
have a
best words
Dash
in Magic.
Ragavan.
Yep. The
See what we
counterplay
hit.
here is going to be Dash Ragavan from Colin.
Looks like we're gonna take it.
Could be that Nathan is considering Solitude here. It's a little tough to see.
He has a couple white cards in his hand.
Yes.
Very likely one of those is Solitude.
One of them is a binding, I'm pretty sure. Probably weighing whether or not it's worth it to exile the binding.
To permanently
Because
bind it.
it will draw a card off of the Beanstalk.
Yeah.
There's some, I haven't gotten a chance to
For
say
land,
it,
nothing.
but there are some very interesting decks brewing in Modern at the moment, which are Cascade decks based on Up the Beanstalk. So instead of cascading into, say, like Rhinos, you have Up the Beanstalk as a 2-mana spell that can be hit by your 3-mana Cascaders. Or, Bloodbraid Elf, 2-hit, 3-mana Cascader, 2-hit Up the Beanstalk.
Why?
It draws cards.
It draws one card.
Yes,
What other
but then
cards
you,
is it?
you
Oh,
frame the
because
rest
you're-
of your deck. Because you're playing a Cascade deck, you're not
You
going to
play
have
the
any cheap
elementals as
spells.
well, right?
Yeah, of course.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, no, it seems good.
Yeah, so get yet another creative use of the elementals and the interesting...
It's not hard to make those cards creative, I think. The card's very good, and then Beanstalk is just a phenomenal addition to any deck playing elementals.
Likely the best card in Modern from the new Eldraine set.
Yes, I think
Really
that
doesn't
there's a
have
good
much
argument for
competition. I think it's only Beseech.
Beseech, as well as Soul of Cauldron of Cauldron.
Oh, Agatha's Soul Cauldron.
Yeah, Agatha's Cauldron.
Also
That's gonna
not
be the
dead
card.
not dead after all, but that's like a very slight upgrade.
Yeah, I think the primary addition besides Up the Beanstalk is going to be the Cauldron. That's going to be very relevant in the Yawgmoth deck, very relevant in the Hardened Scales deck, which we
Might have a chance of seeing
Yeah, we
tonight.
may see on camera. We have it being played by Trey Thompson tonight. Yeah, that card in Hardened Scales is nuts.
Yeah.
Turns every single creature into Ballista or whatever, and quite frankly, that deck has a lot of counters on it. Typically, you're just dead.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't know how that deck works intimately, you may just be dead anyway.
Yeah.
I think wastes don't have a land type at all. It's just a basic land. I appreciate you, Liberty, always trying to get in here and correct. Not quite sure.
All right, so we're seeing Teferi from Nathan.
On the stack?
Likely, assuming it resolves, which it might not, could be met with Stubborn Denial, which, yep.
I didn't know this deck played Stubborn Denial. That's
It
exciting.
does, yes. So its creature base is really, it's Wild Nacatl sometimes, Ragavan, Territorial Kavu, which is another Modern
We know
Horizons
that one.
2 staple, Sign of Draco. Some lists play Tarmogoyf, some lists play a card called Nishoba Brawler. It's an X3, but its power is related to Domain.
Excellent. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's a 5/3.
Yeah. So Stubborn Denial is a choice protection.
Anybody who's been around since Death Shadow was very, very relevant in the format knows Stubborn Denial pretty intimately. It's going to be a 1-mana blue negate, basically, but only if the text reads counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1. Now, if you do have, I believe it's ferocious controller creature with power 4 or greater, instead it's just counter target non-creature spell.
So Ragavan hits Teferi here, seeing as it also generates a treasure, and Colin has a land. Colin could be trying to resolve this Teferi.
That would probably be pretty relevant. Being able to, while balancing the Beanstalk is not
Pretty bad,
not great because he does get to redraw. I do think just slowing him down a little bit may help as well, or alternatively just getting a card off is also very relevant.
Could also just plus, trying to
Play it very.
keep Nathan off of binding.
Does in fact bounce out the Beanstalk.
Okay.
Now, Nathan, as I've just eyed, does in fact have a Solitude in hand and a Leyline Binding. So he may this Leyline Binding may come down onto Teferi, which would make Colin's play of getting the card off of it a little better.
Yeah, it really can't be. It cannot be saved for Ragavan at this point because Teferi restricts you to sorcery speed.
It certainly does. Kind of relevant here. Both of these decks are kind of doing the same thing right now. They're Colin is playing Nathan's. Now, notably, Colin's deck is significantly more aggressive. Is going to have a lot more small threats, and Nathan may be able to. Let's say if we see a Omnath here, which very well could be what we're fetching for, that could turn the tide very quickly.
Again, we're also seeing the power of these, very powerful mana bases. Not only are you able to play very well around Blood Moon, but you're able to keep your basics so that you can keep your life total high against these aggressive decks. Because we're seeing.
Here's a Beanstalk.
It's almost like
that card.
It's almost like two approaches to the same mana base, which is weird.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have a. All right. So he's gonna.
Ran 6 Pink Teferi.
Yep. And then, no, I agree. I think these, strangely enough, Nathan actually fetched out all of the basics here to try and stymie his life total. But both players are at 11 and 12 respectively.
Oh, Ragavan goes face here, not to run in 6.
Absolutely.
Very aggressive line from Colin.
Absolutely. And when you have, they have a burn spell, don't they? A domain burn spell.
Yes, Tribal Flames.
Tribal Flames.
It is a 2 mana, deal 5.
Any target, right?
Yep.
That card's very good.
Mm-hmm. It could just be what I'm expecting here is that Colin. It's not. I don't think it's that Colin necessarily has the.
Nathan draws a
spell.
One Ring here, relevant.
Yes, very. But that I think he expects this Ren and 6 to not really have much impact on the game.
Yeah.
I think he's with Nathan at 9. Colin is looking to end this game.
Is this that 5/3 card? This creature that
yes,
you played?
yeah, the brawler.
Yeah. Right, so we do have.
I mean, that is gonna put, assuming no response, no removal, that is going to present 7 damage to Nathan next turn. Tribal Flames is lethal.
That is.
This is going to restrict the mana base as well from Ren and 6. If Ren and 6 picks up a fetch here, that's another 1 damage to Nathan.
Now, notably, Nathan does have a One Ring in hand, so that
Mhm.
would buy him another turn.
Yes.
He is going to plus. I can't really see the dice that's annotated on the Ren 6, but I believe
wanna say
we
it's a
are
3.
we are at 3, yeah, because we
Yeah.
were up 3, -1, +1.
Mm.
I can't imagine Nathan will not deploy this One Ring.
Yeah, Ring
This
is super relevant.
He may, in this case, Nathan has a good amount of cards in hand. He's considering it. He may not even activate the One Ring because
Yeah.
it may just be a fog in this case.
Also, really hoping to dodge Stubborn Denial here.
Absolutely.
Looks like that is successful. Ring hits the board.
Lucky. With Colin having, I believe, like 3 cards in hand, it was definitely a risk.
Yep. So I think at this point, Nathan's job is to dig for Omnath.
Absolutely. And One Ring can help with that.
Yep. All right, Colin's going to fetch out the basic planes at end of turn. Maybe deploying Leyline Binding.
On the
Yep.
One Ring, I assume.
Presumably.
Will Nathan draw a card?
Absolutely.
I agree.
No reason not to. Yep.
Draws a card, hits
Second
another
card.
Leyline Binding.
Yeah.
May, in fact,
Oh, that's nasty.
yeah,
So
may in
it-
fact get it back, buy
but-
himself another turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get protection for everything once again. Resetting the ring.
Now this is where the 4-color Omnath deck really wants to be, and that's having answers for everything, the capability to draw cards that even if something happens to where this isn't going to be relevant, and Colin is able to
Yeah, we
answer
see
it
Colin
once again.
We see Colin running out of gas here, going for Gigantha.
Yep.
This is really a critical turn.
Get in for 5 at Ren and 6.
Mhm.
Nathan's still sitting at 9 life.
All right, cast Ragavan to avoid
Pass.
dashing. Nathan's going to go to
8.
potentially 6 here for Leyline Binding at end of turn, or possibly 8 just for tap land. Better fixing.
Yep, tap land. Now, if if Nathan does use the Leyline Binding that we believe is in his hand, I think the only real target is going to be the opposing Leyline on
Yeah,
his,
for sure.
for his One Ring. This is going to give him yet another turn. These guys are having a good time, laughing it up. Now these guys have known each other quite a long time, so good. These guys are obviously in really good standing with one another. Untap. Let's see it. And the reason why we're going to hit that One Ring is going to fog him again, give Nathan yet more cards, and I think this is, again, this is where Omnath really likes to be, just running away with the game and card
Yeah.
advantage side.
Nathan's also going to have enough mana to both cast Binding and hard cast Solitude here.
Ouch.
Um,
Difficult.
drawing
Let's
a
see if
card.
this scoops.
Drawing a card off of Beanstalk.
And if this one doesn't,
Yeah, this is not where you want to be as an aggro player. You do not want
your opponent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. At this point, because really, you want to exhaust your opponent's removal and then hope they can't find more. But with Beanstalk, it's inevitable. The removal
Absolutely.
is drawing more removal. With Solitude, the removal is also putting a threat on the board and drawing more removal.
Let's see.
See the target.
I believe there may be a response. He's checking.
I think he's probably checking for. Oh, the ring says if you cast it. So Nathan will not get protection here.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, notable.
Thankfully,
If
we
you
have it
cast
up on the screen. Yeah.
Interesting. Love that.
Too many words.
I agree. Once again.
It's got indestructible. One thing that I do really like about the Lord of the Rings set is that I like that the answers to the really powerful cards also came from the Lord of the
I
Rings set.
agree. I think it's super relevant.
Um,
Cast into fire.
Cast into the Fire is an answer to both the One Ring.
Absolutely.
um,
And Stern Scolding. I've been singing this card's praises. I think that it is a absolute sleeper for anybody playing blue. Incredibly relevant. Card is very good.
All right. So what further play are we going to see from Nathan? He's drawn a Teferi.
Play
You
it.
could see Teferi bounce Brawler.
We also could see Teferi bounce One Ring.
I think we're less likely to
yes,
see that
I
just
agree.
because it can't be cast this turn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Brawler is going to be the go.
Yep. Let's see.
See if Colin attacks the Teferi next turn or simply opts to go face.
I have a
with
feeling
Ragnar.
that if we're going to be attacking Teferi, Nathan may at this point just kick off this Solitude
Yeah.
to protect it, just making sure that his opponent just does not have anything in play.
We are
Really
seeing the
clear it
second
off.
binding as well. Second binding
Yeah.
protects Teferi very efficiently. Although Nathan will have to fetch shock.
Going upstairs, gonna draw a card first.
Mm-hmm. Takes 2. I think.
I think he's waiting to respond. I think he said before blocks or before
Sure.
damage. And like I said,
Yep.
gonna be pitching the
Pitch Leyline Binding.
yep.
Got
Gonna
Solitude.
draw a card. Pitch binding, Solitude, gonna exile that.
Beep, beep.
And the board is clear. Now, as a sort of, a lot of the decks these days are going to be really blending the line between archetypes, and most notably, Omnath is very, very good at drawing the line between a mid-range deck and something that's going to be pushing the boundaries of control.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people that call the deck 4-color control.
Which is relevant, and I think definitely not an incomplete, not like an incorrect statement. I think.
Especially, I think Nathan's build.
Absolutely. Now, we did just see another Leyline Binding out of Colin. We're going to be saying that card a lot. There are 3 Leyline Bindings, one of which it is
tucked under a Leyline Binding.
And it hits Teferi, notably.
Yep.
Colin may have been worried about the Teferi just bouncing Leyline Binding once again and kind of just playing this rigmarole over and over again.
Yep. Could also have a Stubborn Denial in hand.
That is true.
Where he wants to respond to. He wants to be able to respond to something.
It does have an uncracked fetch and a treasure token. We do have a Scion of Urza, or Scion of Draco, and the Brawler. So that is 9 power. Notably, Nathan is at 8.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a Terminate that I just saw?
That is a Solitude for sure. To deal with one of those threats.
Up the Beanstalk.
With
Windswept Island.
With Draco,
Solitude,
the Brawler does have Trample. So Nathan is going to have to find a removal spell. Really also digging for Omnath. I mean, this ring is now dealing... It's going to deal 2 next turn, putting Nathan to 4. So 2 removal spells are absolutely necessary here.
Yeah, I think that one of the most powerful aspects for One Ring, really, in the format is going to be One Ring paired with a 4-mana creature that makes you gain life. And we've seen that in Omnath, and we've seen that in Shieldred. Those have been like powerhouses when combined with these cards. Very difficult to be interacted with. Of course, Shieldred is a clock on its own, and Omnath is going to be doing all of the many words on that card's abilities. Nathan, taking multiple game actions.
Yeah. So we're seeing Ren and 6 come down.
Looks like a plus.
I think Ren and 6 is ticking up, yeah. Minus doesn't really do anything here.
Pings for 1.
Is that a hand of like lands and solitude?
Lands, Solitude. I know there's an Up the Beanstalk, which I would be surprised if he doesn't cast.
Okay, so
discards down to hand size. Hits discards Windswept Heath, passes to Colin.
So I'm guessing the line here is cast Solitude, exile Scion, block Yashoba Brawler.
Okay. Gonna hard cast Solitude, draw a card off a Beanstalk. He's going to exile probably the green creature, block the Draco.
No, the Draco has flying.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So
His
he
block,
does, because getting rid of the Draco does remove trample. That is relevant.
So now they'll trade.
He's
Nathan will gain 3.
Nathan will gain 3. Colin will gain 4.
Yep.
Spending 5 mana.
Gigantha. Juicy J.
Is that the name?
Yes.
All right.
This
cool.
I used to play the card in Shadow. After Luris got banned.
I do remember.
Because you could.
That didn't remove anything from the deck, did it?
It just removed Luris and its metagame presence.
I mean playing Gigantha. Like you make no consolate. Like,
no cuts. The only thing you couldn't play was Street Wraith, which was bad.
I love that card.
I love that card. Yeah, I played it for the longest time because I didn't want to buy Ledger Shredders.
Rip that card too.
I still play it.
Yeah, but we just talked about playing Street Wraith. I don't think we're the target audience. Yo, these players are busted. I agree.
Yes.
Good players for sure.
We do have a lot of very skilled players here, I think.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that has to do with kind of the connectivity of the Orlando team. A lot of actually the owners of the MTG Orlando Discord are actually in shop today too. It's been we remain really really connected, and you know if any of the folks in chat ever get a chance to come out to Orlando, one of the local shops. Obviously, we're here over at Versus, but there are countless shops in the area. Everybody come on out and participate in the format down here. We do play Legacy here at Versus, I believe, monthly, and then we have obviously all the other Eternal and rotating formats here too. Still taking lots of game actions.
Yeah, so
nothing really is changing much other than Nathan just really really digging for an Omnath. There's a bolt to get Colin from 17 down to 14.
Interesting.
An incredible at the face.
Huh.
What really is Gigantha doing here?
Attacking for 5.
It is.
Nathan is at 4.
Well,
he does have protection from the ring this turn.
He does.
Did cast a ring. I imagine that once Gigantha is answered, it's game over for Zoo. Zoo does not have the card advantage.
How many cards does Colin have in hand? Is it none? Is he hellbent?
I think he is. Might be like 1 or 2 tops.
Unfortunately, he has black sleeves, so we can't really see.
There might also be. I think I saw him put his hand off screen. But yeah, now that
tap
Omnath,
some stuff down.
Yeah, tap Gigantha, buy another turn, draw a card.
Oh,
goodness. Now that Omnath has established its board presence,
he does have a card in hand.
Okay.
There it is.
There's the Omnath.
All right, there's Omnath.
With a fetch and play.
I imagine that this is game over.
Yes.
I imagine that with time, unless Colin has something very relevant to do here, this is pretty much over.
Yep. Second fetch.
Now, for the record, we could in fact see Stubborn Denial on Up the Beanstalk, just trying to get something out of cards, out of hand. Trying to make sure his Stubborn Denial is relevant.
Yeah.
Now, for the record, there is an opportunity for Colin to steal this.
Mm-hmm.
We could just go runner, burn spell. What's it called? The domain
Tribal
burn
Flames?
spell. Tribal Flames. Yeah, we could go runner, Tribal Flames. But it is tough.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Still not sure. I think 1 card in hand maybe for Colin.
24 minutes left in the round still. Got plenty of time.
Jeez.
Now that Nathan is fully digging through the hand, trying to find something to play. There we go. Fury here. I imagine that this is pretty close to dead here. I imagine Fury, throw all the damage at Gigantha, minus Ren. That's going to be 5.
Yep.
Will this get a
Gigantha
scoop?
is off the board. I think
No, it's all right. Off the top, what do we have from Colin?
I mean, it could be
it is getting away here.
It could be that the strategy here is. I mean, I'm not sure what the makeup of Colin's hand is, but the strategy here could be that Zoo is maybe favored with little time. So maybe game 2 goes well.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be the case.
Nathan
could
doesn't
force
have as much
Nathan to
time
keep
to
a
make.
more aggressive hand in game 3. That is accurate. That could be the case. Now, while these players are heads up, very conscious of what's going on, I don't imagine that we would be resorting to tactics like that. Notably, Colin getting rid of the Omnath here with that ley line binding off the top is good. Boseju's going to take care of it. Get Omnath back. Yeah, that's going to finally scoop it up. All right, let's make sure that we're dividing these ley line bindings up to the players who own them. We're going to go to game 2.
All right.
Now, that was probably the most amount of game actions we've seen tonight, right?
Yeah.
On camera.
I think that one game may have been longer than round 1.
Nathan is in fact fighting for his life.
Yeah.
He got there though.
Yep. Yeah, it really the 4-color Omnath 1-ring decks have so much late game staying power, especially now that they have Up the Beanstalk.
Absolutely.
In the early game, having a Beanstalk on the field negates the downside of the pitch elementals.
Yeah, and then you're.
And in the late game, it makes it draw engines.
Absolutely, we've got our cake and ice cream too, and whatever.
They stack.
They certainly do stack.
You can have 2.
They certainly do. You know what? I think that's what Colin needs in his deck.
Yeah.
We need to cut the Scion of Dracos. The
No, you leave those
Prowlers.
because they trigger Beanstalk.
Oh, okay. So we'll cut Ragavans.
Ragavan, it's not good anymore.
We'll cut all the other cards. We'll add more elementals and we'll add Omnath, and then we'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This is
Right.
it. Young local person checking out what's going on, visiting the store.
Deterred from the 4-color matchup.
Absolutely can't handle the power.
Yeah. If I could choose, I think I'd make the same decision.
No, yeah, I'm not watching this.
Yeah.
sorry, y'all have to.
As a Murktide player, it's also a fairly difficult matchup. I think you really have to know what to fight over, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do have the advantage of, I think your early pressure is fantastic, and your card selection is great.
Yeah.
You cannot deal with a Resolve Beanstalk super effectively.
Red mana can't do that, can it?
No, neither can
red,
blue. The best you can do is bounce it with Otawara and counter it later. But that's a really crummy line.
What do you mean?
Or Spell Snare.
Yeah,
which is
Spell Snare,
we are
that's-
seeing an uptick in Spell Snare.
Yeah, and I think Spell Snare is actually fighting the same slot. And for the record, folks who don't know what Spell Snare is, that's going to be a 1-mana blue instant. Says counter target spell with exactly 2 mana, 2 CMC, and that is actually fighting for a slot with Stern Scolding, which is going to be that newer card from Lord of the Rings. And what Stern Scolding says is it's a 1-mana blue instant. It says counter target creature spell with power or toughness 2 or less. That's going to be super relevant for your Darcys, your Ragavans, your Griefs, your Solitudes. Hits all of those cards and more. And that's kind of kept the format kind of doing at least fun blue early interaction. And I think that's still exciting for us control mages, but ultimately the format's still pretty powerful.
All right, so players are shuffling up for game 2. It looks like Colin's got an opening hand.
Saying that this is game 2 is we are 30 almost 30 minutes into round 3 and we're going to game 2. But
all right, both companions are still revealed. Alright, looks like Nathan is mulliganing again? Is this the first mulligan or the second?
I believe this is his first mulligan.
Okay.
I didn't know that about the companion mechanic, and I was like, "Hey, you guys have 2 cards out. I need to put this back in your sideboard."
Oh, yeah.
Like, this companion.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, this is my Pokemon.
Yeah. Back when Luris was legal, I think we had a table at one modern night where all 4 people at the table had Luris,
Oh my god.
and we all put them in the same corner.
With our powers combined, we
Yeah.
can ruin the format.
All right, so Colin
Turn
started
1,
us off
Wild
with
Nacatl.
Wild Nacatl. It is
No!
2023.
No, you can't.
it's being met with
prismatic ending. No, it was. Oh god.
Go back to yesteryear.
Would you say 2013?
I think it's in 2015.
Oh god. Many years ago.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I really wanted to put that card in Naya Burn.
Can we get Wild Nacatl up on screen? It
Run
died
it
too
back.
young. I want
Died too young.
to. We need to give it a little bit of a look.
All right.
What is this card?
This is Territorial Caboose, so it's domain, power, and toughness are equal to the land types that you have. When it attacks, you may choose one. You can discard a card and draw a card, or you can exile up to one card, one target card from a graveyard.
Dope.
That's
from Nathan.
With Scion in play, it has First Strike and Trample. Not at the moment.
Excellent.
But yeah, it's a really good role player for this deck. It's a 2-mana 5/5. It turns on Stubborn Denial.
Yeah, it does.
It beats hard with Sign of Draco on the field, and it rummages for
Dope.
more fuel.
Ren and 6.
All right, we're gonna see Ren in 6.
That is gonna get punched in the face by a Territorial Caboose.
Yes. All right, looks like Nathan is opting to get Sacred Foundry
Here we go.
instead of Stomping Ground.
Can we get Territorial Kabu in play or on the screen? Another card with a lot of words.
About to pummel into Renin 6, most likely.
Absolutely. I would. I mean, Nathan is at 15. He did fetch shock twice. There might be a play for just hitting him.
Yeah, could be.
Is it 3-turn clock
with Leyline Binding in hand,
and
potentially.
And also relevant. It could just be like realistically like. Nathan has so many card advantage engines that he has access to that fighting that tide is tough, and it may just be the correct play. I mean, obviously Colin's going to be the pilot here. He's going to know his deck a little bit better than I would. That might just be the call. It's just going face, looking for Tribal Flames. Fetch double Tribal Flames. Let's see.
Could see another interesting line could be. I guess the fetch is
Mikado?
safely back in hand.
And a Scion.
Mikado Scion.
This is.
All right, I think Nathan has dropped
This is
a 10.
lethal
Yeah,
damage
that's
to
it.
play.
That's the game.
Wow.
So we
Excellent.
are going to get a game 3,
Wow,
and we're going to
game
have
3.
plenty of time for game 3.
We'll see. There we go. There's Territorial Kabu. It's gone. It's all right. Both of these players, like we were saying before, very knowledgeable about their decks. I know that Nathan is a fan of doing some absurd things and removing the fun from his opponent's deck and his gameplay. And Colin's just a big old sweetie.
Nathan used to play Creativity.
He did. He played Creativity. I know he was a big Murktide player for quite a long time. Let's see. Colin also big burn player. A lot of aggro from Colin. I know he's a pretty accomplished mid-range player too, but aggro is just kind of, I think, a solid determinant way to play Magic right now. With all the interaction and with the horrific efficiency of some of these mid-range and control decks that we're seeing, I think that it's absolutely understandable to just turn them sideways.
Mm-hmm. How's Burn doing right now? Do we know how Burn's doing?
Burn's actually very reasonable to play.
Mm-hmm.
Most notably, recently we've had Roiling Vortex. Would you like to pull up Roiling Vortex on the screen?
That's true. That's phased, or not phased out, but it's
super relevant.
Replaced
It
Eidolon.
has all but replaced Eidolon. It is that card is very, very good. And what that card's going to do is at the beginning of each player's upkeep, it's going to deal 1 damage to that player. It has another triggered ability, which is whenever a player casts a spell without paying any mana for it, Roiling Vortex is going to deal 5 damage to that player. And then it has an activated ability of red, and then that says players can't gain life this turn. There you go. Or opponents can't gain life. And that's going to be super relevant for all the decks that have the pitch elementals. It's going to be very relevant for like Force of Negation decks, things like that. Now, notably, in Burn, they are still playing Rift Bolt. So if you put a Rolling Vortex down and you have a Rift Bolt on Suspend, it's going to hurt.
Yep.
But not that Burn's ever really.
But you can hold it.
Yeah, and you can pay 3 for it, which we never want to do, but when the time comes. So I'm of the camp that I think Burn is a reasonable choice. Just like I think Tron's a pretty reasonable choice right now. Tron has access to the One Ring, which of course is preordained as far as I know. That is a beautifully ugly.
I did not expect that from Zoo. I didn't know they were playing preordained.
That seems solid. I think giving us a little bit of
for the sake of time,
digging
seems
seems pretty
here.
Yeah.
Preordained. I am so happy they unbanned Preordained.
Yeah, I think that it's really solid. I think that, as always, Wizards has not done a very good job at explaining their banning philosophy. But ultimately, when we get cards that we like playing and make a little more consistency across the format, I think that's exciting. And of course, as a blue mage, it makes me happy.
Yes, sometimes Wizards hits bullseye when they throw the dart, the dart at the dartboard for BNR, and Preordained was bullseye. I think.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, turn 2, Renin 6 from Nathan here.
Yeah, probably going to pick up this fetch. Really, this is kind of what I mentioned last game. Fighting against the tide of the card advantage spells is going to be just, I think, a real losing battle, which is what we saw in Game 1 from Colin, just not being able to keep up. And I think just playing some large creatures like the Brawler is what it's called, right?
The Brawler, yeah.
The Brawler, turn 2, as a 4/4, as a 3/3.
Nope, just
right
a 3/3.
now. Yeah, 3/3 right now. Obviously, we expect it to get a little bit bigger. I think that's probably going to be end up what we're doing. Assuming Nathan just has a lot of air, I expect Colin to continue. These guys are having a good time as always.
Brawler's a really interesting card because it dies to bolt, but it's a 5/3.
Okay, but Teferi come down to bounce it.
The competing spot here, I guess, is a Tarmogoyf.
Yeah. So Tarmogoyf notably doesn't die to bolt, but it is much harder to get bigger.
Yep.
Especially in a deck that in reality is spending all of its kind of secondary actions to make more lands in play, whereas something like Tarmogoyf is going to be, a deck that plays Tarmogoyf is going to be doing secondary actions to fill their graveyard, Jund, sorcery, instant land creature, all the normal stuff, and then we have in days long past we had Mishra's Bauble, and now we're seeing like Saga going into the graveyard.
Yeah, I was gonna say I missed
types.
that Jund Saga deck. I think it's making a bit of a resurgence.
Yeah, we actually have a couple of players here playing it tonight.
Excellent.
I don't. Let's face it. I don't think we'll have them in the X and O bracket, but I would love to see it. I would love to be wrong.
Alright, so Brawler comes back.
Yep. We see it
I
once
think
again.
Domain is now active with this Savai
Is that the Mardu Triumph?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we do have all 5 colors. So this is a 5/3 Brawler on Colin's side. And just showing up against a lot of Planeswalkers. We do have another Beanstalk. Here is where Nathan is trying to kind of go from grabbing the old OS bar in the car, trying to stop the tide, to turning the corner a little bit towards card advantage, and then who am I kidding? This deck doesn't turn the corner towards damage yet until it's drawn about 35 cards.
Not until you draw Fury.
Yeah, absolutely. The one of.
Or Omnath. Omnath hits hard.
Omnath is great.
Which we see in Nathan's hand.
We do. Let's see. And again, this is one of those times when Colin really has to face a decision of like who he will attack. Now Nathan notably does have a Solitude in his hand, but I think the only other white card that he has is Omnath, and I doubt he's going to want to pitch that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're just going to take 5 here, down to 10.
Yeah, down to 10.
See.
Yeah, Nathan's being patient here and waiting until next turn to hardcast Solitude.
Or Omnath plus fetch. That may also just
Also
give
true.
life.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's probably the better play.
Fetch from Colin. Down to 11 looks like.
Gonna shock.
What will we see? All right, what would be the scariest thing for him to put in play right now?
I think. Oh man.
Crumble to dust.
No.
No. What's
think
the?
Maybe like double creature would be rough here for Nathan. Like putting down, I think Territorial Kavu
Plus Scion
could
would be
tough.
scary. Yeah, that would actually be pretty scary because we have the capability to ping some stuff. We have flying, which is going to get over the Omnath. Now,
So here's Kavu.
we're halfway there.
Here's Scion. All right.
Called it. All right, let's
So-
see what happens. I'm excited to see what happens here.
We'll say Scion is certainly tolerable from Nathan's side because it's hit by Beseiju.
Yeah, unfortunately. I
don't-
don't see a
I don't
Beseiju
know.
in hand.
Yeah, I would assume you still keep those because Leyline Binding is a huge card in this matchup. Nathan's gonna grab a tapped Breeding Pool. Shuffle them up. See anything on end step? Nope. Nathan's gonna untap, draw a card. Plus Teferi. I think it is at 3 counters now, so if he can defend it, he's gonna be able to bounce something.
I'm so glad we have this match on the feature match. Well, it is a lot of sameness. At least it's exciting and
Okay, so there's Omnath drawing a card.
notably not scam. Let's see. We are gonna get a land drop out of Nathan here,
Yeah,
which
but I
is
think-
gonna gain 4 life.
Nathan does have the fetch through Ren and 6.
He may. I'm not sure. Now, he may just play the island here.
Yeah. I mean, with assuming no other response, like assuming
he
it is
does
fetch.
have a Windswept Teeth in hand, so he does have a fetch
Yeah, assuming that it is fetch Solitude.
trigger.
Nathan is stuck with
Back up to
2
13.
dealing with both the Kavu and the Brawler. The Brawler can die to Solitude, but Territorial Kavu is not going to go down so easily. Nathan is probably going to have to sacrifice something to defend it.
Absolutely, and I think that Colin actually doing a really good job of ignoring these planeswalkers, trying to be aggressive, just establishing a board, and then we have not seen any Tribal Flames yet.
Nope. It's always so hard to stay. I think it's really hard to stay disciplined and not attack the planeswalkers sometimes.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I'm always like, I just want to take out my opponent's resources.
We have a Solitude.
So
on
Solitude hits
the-
Kavu here.
I think the first strike was what he was worried about.
But I think the trample is going to be a pretty big difficulty. Because now, should Colin choose to swing,
Yep.
he's coming in for 9 damage. Could also just swing with the Scion of Draco at Teferi. Or just at Nathan.
When in doubt, turn him sideways.
All right, so Colin is going to grab the planes here.
Let's see. I think Nathan has done 0 damage to Colin.
Yeah, it's all been fetches.
Leyline
All right,
Binding.
Leyline Binding hitting Omnath.
Omnath. Very, very relevant. 4 mana.
It's going to prevent Nathan from continuing to gain life. The
What is
Terra
that?
Sunder.
I have no idea.
All right, so it's 1 in a green. It has kicker of 1 in a black.
He tapped 4 mana. Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
So you exile, I think, target. It might
Here,
be. It might be like
we've got to pull up. Hang on.
non-artifact, non-creature, or it might be like enchantment or artifact or something. And if you kick it, it's just non-land permanent. Exile.
Terra Sunder.
So
Lots of permanents just changed.
endurance.
All right, there's Terra Sunder.
Oh, what happened?
Exile
here?
target artifact or enchantment. If this spell is kicked, exile target non-land permanent instead. So, what did we hit?
So I think that was. Oh, maybe that was that Force of Vigor? No, that doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
Brawler came in for 5.
How did Omnath come back?
I think it might have been Force of Vigor.
Okay.
Because I think he pitched Endurance.
5 lands in hand.
5 lands in hand.
Oh, no, 4 lands and a Teferi in hand.
Is that Ren Emblem?
Let's see. It looked like a Ren Emblem.
Yeah.
So, a Ren Emblem. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, there
All
it
right,
is.
So now we have
So Omnath coming in.
all of Nathan's instants and sorceries in his graveyard now have retrace, and with Nathan having 4 lands in play, that means he's going to be able to cast whatever instants and sorceries in his graveyard regularly. Now, I think the only one that we have in play or in the graveyard that I remember is going to be Prismatic Ending.
Prismatic Ending,
Notably, that does hit.
And I think
these
Force as well.
Now, Prismatic Ending does not hit Scion, and it does
Nope.
not hit Leyline
Binding. Alright, so Binding's going to take Teferi here.
Okay.
Colin is able to deploy another Scion.
There's the Prismatic Ending that we
Yeah.
were casting.
Yeah, I think Nathan has removed it from his graveyard.
He's
so
hit the Kavu again,
that-
or the
drawn another Teferi.
Brawler. Fetch. Too many game actions. Fetching again, down to 9, going to go get a duel.
Yep. 3 minutes left in the round as well.
He is playing very quickly. Took back the fetch. He's not at 9. Is he? I don't know.
Yeah. Drew Ephemerate.
Oh, ephemerate, very relevant. That's gonna draw some cards.
Ephemerate Omnath could be interesting. Just trying to draw cards. I think the 2 spells in hand are currently Ephemerate, Teferi.
3 mana.
It looks like we're gonna see Teferi come down.
3 mana. Teferi.
Has to deal with
Now,
Scion.
what do we do here?
Mm.
Does not. Draws a card,
Bounces
plays the other one,
Leyline
bounces the other one with the
Binding
second Teferi.
To bounce, yeah.
Yep.
To put another
Minus.
Teferi in play. Minus on Draco, draw another card. Nathan is digging. Looks
Land drop.
he's
Gain
got-
4.
Looks like
Up
he's
to
not
13
finding
once
much.
again.
Looks like he's found a lot of lands.
Oh, big old grumpy face from Colin.
All right, 2 minutes remaining. Life total's 13 for Nathan and 11 for Colin. Nathan is going to be able to crush in
Fetch
with
twice.
Omnath.
No, we're not at 7. We're at 11. There we go.
Ah, gotcha. 11 all.
Name that Triumph.
Rogren.
Good.
I know
That
that.
was the Jeskai Triumph.
Okay.
Steam Vents.
Steam Vents. That's going to be 2 lands for Omnath, right?
Yep.
Suppose that's a way to deal with Scion,
What's that?
I think. Does it? Omnath's what is Omnath's third landfall?
It
does
deals
4
4 damage to.
players.
Let's find out.
Is it Planeswalkers?
Omnath. What is it? Locus of the Royal?
God only knows. Omnath,
Locus of Creation.
the 4-color one.
It's Omnath Locus
Yes.
of Creation.
Okay.
Called it.
Oh, each opponent and each Planeswalker,
Yeah, there you go.
but not
So-
creature. Okay.
Yeah,
So it would not deal with Scion of Draco, which
Mm-hmm.
is what I was thinking of.
that's a Preordain.
Preordain, let's go.
Scry 2, draw a card.
You have to
What
root
was
for
it?
Preordain.
What's that?
You have to root for Preordain.
Oh, well, yeah.
What a card. Preordain with Retrace sounds pretty nice.
That would be gnarly.
If you could do that.
That would be very gnarly. All right, Colin now digging. Probably not as well as. Ooh, we have
So we
a
see Dash Ragavan.
Dash Ragavan.
It's gonna
Swing
come
for
in
2.
For 2.
Oh, I
Nathan
see what he's
will
doing.
respond.
Okay. Notably,
Oh,
Nathan
with the
didn't-
plus.
Nathan
Oh,
did
wait.
not plus this turn.
Oh.
Okay,
Mhm.
we gotta stop that. Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. All right, I'll be right back.
See how fast this guy can
Yeah.
go, and with less than 20 seconds. 'Cause
Yeah.
We're like 20 seconds off their clock.
Yep. Yeah, so Sam is running out to stop the prismatic ending play. Because neither of the Teferis plussed, which allows Nathan to cast sorceries as though they had flash. Nathan is not going to be able to exile Ragavan, and Ragavan is going to connect and exile a card from the top. So I think maybe we're rewinding to that combat step.
3-second extension. So.
Okay. So what are we doing? We're rewinding to
We
The
rebound
trigger?
to attacks to set up the trigger.
Sure.
Which was a Fury, which was drawn by Nathan, but obviously we saw that was what he drew, so we put that back on top.
Sure.
It was exiled. Colin could not cast it.
Mhm.
We've given them a 30-second extension.
Yep. All right. So Nathan draws, plays Steam Vents, I think. So much to keep track of.
All right, that'll be time around.
Yep.
Yep.
Casts Ren and 6. I think we're going to move. Suppose Nathan is turn 0.
Nathan is turn 0.
So the game must end in 5 turns. Or at the end of the 5th turn.
We are.
If neither player wins, it will be a draw.
I'm gonna
Colin
make sure
is
they
at
know.
3. So there's a good chance that Nathan can take the game here in that 3-turn span. All right, Nathan's going to play land, go up to 13 from Omnath. Staring down a hand of lands, ephemerate, and I think there's a 1 ring in there. So Nathan's gonna fetch here. When the land enters the battlefield, he's gonna get 4 mana from Omnath. One of each of the colors that are not black. Is Nathan out of fetchables? Yeah. I think Nathan's going to fail to find... Yeah, Nathan fails to find here. This means that a land is not going to enter the battlefield. Nathan is not going to have any additional mana from Omnath and is not going to be able to do anything else with his turn. Turn 1 is going to go to Colin. With Nathan at 12 and gaining 1 from every land drop, or gaining 4 from every land drop, it's going to be very difficult for Colin to claw back into this game. But Leyline Binding is going to be super helpful here. Alright, so Leyline Binding is going to snipe Omnath. Ragavan's going to dash in, exiling another Fury, which is not going to be castable unless Colin has a land here. Alright, moving to end step, Ragavan comes back to hand. Nathan is now turn 2. Nathan needs to put a threat on the board here to have a chance of winning. Does have Kahira in hand. Drop that Kahira. I think Kahira is a 3 power creature.
Yeah,
So
Kahira
this-
should be a 3/2, but gives Lord effects to elemental creatures.
Yes. So Colin has survived by putting Leyline Binding on Omnath,
Uh-huh.
dashing Ragavan, and hitting another Fury.
I think he's going to squeeze this draw out. I believe we are on turn 4
Yeah.
now, or 0,
I mean,
1, 2,
he
3.
needs an answer for Kahira because Ragavan is going to get exiled by Prismatic Ending. So it can't just be blocker. Teferi's on 3 now. Tribal Flames. All right, there you go.
There it is. 1 more off the top.
Targeting Nathan.
He's at 5.
5
We
to
need
2.
1 more Tribal Flames.
More Tribal Flames. Do we see it? We see it!
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Wow!
And we extend the handshake.
Oh my goodness.
The second
Holy
Tribal
moly.
Flame. 10 damage in
Wow.
1 turn.
We called it. We wanted it the whole